Good afternoon, folks. This is the Wolf Driver coming at you live once again. Special treat today. I haven't done that many live broadcasts of our motorcycle rides. This is, in case you didn't know, Zarro. Zarro is my husky slash Malamute. He's about 40% Malamute, 60% husky. We're on a beautiful early spring day here in Maryland, and Zarro's got his Rex specs. These are a new new lens that I'm trying out. Usually I use the Beast Riders. The Beast Riders made this whole specialized seat, and okay, cool. They made this specialized seat here that kind of seat belts onto my bike, which is a Can-Am, and it puts him on in a 3-point harness that Beast Riders also makes. I'm not doing an ad for them, I'm just telling you how I got here. And this 3-point system has clasps, if you will, kind of like seat belts, that hook onto the specially designed harness, and it keeps him safe as we ride. Now, there's no way he could physically come out of this. He's more secure than I am on the bike. Wearing the Rex specs, the eyes are very important to protect. Wind is going to come at us. Now, usually the wind is already broken up by the time it gets him by the windshield and myself sitting in front of him, but anything can happen, so rather to be safe than some incident happen with his eyes. That's why I always use eye protection. Some people have asked me, do we use a helmet? We don't use a helmet for him. I've seen them, one or two available, but I've never, I just think it'd be too cumbersome for him. It's tough enough adjusting to the Rex specs, to the goggles. You might have seen us last year. I've used other goggles again. The company that makes the Beast Riders, the bike seat, makes a whole setup, if you will, ensemble for the dogs. Their goggles are excellent, but I'm going to try these. These looked a little better, and I like the way they're actually fitting really well. A lot of dogs use goggles for different things, and this is one of the reasons, but Rex Specs is a dog goggle making company. Now I'm going to take my phone here, and I'm just going to put it inside the center console. I realize you might not have a consistent view of me because the camera's spinning. That'll be handy once we get onto the road. But I'm going to keep the camera spinning. Zarro's all set to go. All I got to do is start the bike up and get the party going. So we're going to probably take some back roads. We're definitely going to take back roads, but I'm not sure where we're going to wind up. Going to see how traffic flows, how it's looking, and see how long we want to stay out here. This is really cool. When you see Zarro ride, and I'm talking to you now, like Zarro saying, hey, let's go, Dad. When you see him ride, you'll see him probably put his head on my shoulder. He feels comfortable there, and it's a nice bonding moment. I do this with all my dogs. Zarro, I'm broadcasting now. Zarro appreciates it the most because he's just daddy's boy. So we're going to get out there. Sin, do you see him with his goggles? They look cute. So we're going to get out there now. I'm going to start the bike up. Notice he's fine being on the seat. This isn't his first rodeo. He's done this many a times before. I'm going to lower the stereo a little bit so hopefully you can hear me. I'm competing with a lot of sound here, so I'm hoping that I'm coming over clearly. Hoping you're getting a good view of everything. And I'm going to get rolling here in a sec. Okay. For those of you that don't know, this is called a Can-Am motor. There goes Zarro. How cool is that? This is called a Can-Am motorcycle. And basically, it has 3 wheels. They do that because it's more stable than 2 wheels. Now, it's pretty easy to ride compared to a 2-wheel bike. You don't have to lean into it, and you don't have to be as bike savvy. You do still need a motorcycle license in Maryland. I'm letting car go behind me. Sometimes you gotta be careful because I'm talking and I have to pay a lot of attention to the road, obviously. So if I lose track for a second, please forgive me. So the Can-Am, they've been making these 3-wheel motorcycles for roughly 10 years plus, I believe. Now, this is a newer one I have. You might have seen me on the white one. That was one of the first generations. I've been having them for 9 years or so. Have to give a wave to the kind people that are around here. So you can see Zarro's getting there. Now, of course, I have water on board for him, and we might stop and take a walk and all that good stuff, depending on how the day goes. Now, dogs typically, when they get in a situation like riding in a car with the window down, or even in a pickup truck, they will typically they typically get all the smells. They love it because there's a lot of smells moving past them pretty quick. Sorry, I'm adjusting the mic here. I'm hoping you can hear me good still. Zarro. So I don't know how the camera's going to react on this spin. It might be jumping a little. I apologize if it is. We're doing our best. This is kind of a prototype the way I set the camera up today. So it might not be as stable as we'll get in the future. I pride myself on really making some quality broadcast with stable camera views and immersive views that make you feel like you're actually there with us. And I hope I'm providing that today. I can tell my mic's a little off. So this bike, by the way, for those of you that ride motorcycles, as we age, our knees, humans I'm talking about now, our knees and backs tend to be problematic for us. These motorcycles really help with that because of the position it puts you in. Now there's actually a few different Can-Am varieties out there that can help you. I'm just keeping an eye on Zarro. That can, where your ailments are, because a lot of people that have been riding bikes for many years, we get sore being in that position as we age, of course. And the Can-Am offers different positions and requires, again, no balance. So if you're sore on one side or you have arthritis, whatever, you can pretty much center yourself whichever side you like. You don't need to lean into turns, etc. And a lot of people that have ridden Harleys for years actually I know people that have gone to the Can-Am. Now Harley's awesome, don't get me wrong, but as we age, we're not quite as mobile as when we were younger. So I'm gonna take a ride through the countryside of Maryland. Now Maryland is known for farming and horses, etc. That's Preakness is in Maryland, if you've heard of the Preakness before. And that's not near where I'm at, but a lot of the surrounding areas to me where there's farms have horses that are not necessarily associated with the Preakness, but because Maryland's a horse town, basically, it used to be a lot more. The horses are prevalent everywhere here. So you might have seen us when we go to the farms that we run, where we free range off leash. We go to the farms and mingle with some of the horses. There goes Zarro. Now I'm gonna take a little detour. Again, I'm just riding to get some ride time in with Zarro and to enjoy this great weather. And because we're so active, this gives me a chance to bond individually with each dog. Now Zarro, again, is maybe you'd consider him the most affectionate, because when I ride the other dogs, and you can look back on my YouTube library, you'll see how a lot of times they'll do their own thing. They'll usually curl up in the seat and just take a nap, or they'll be trying to see around me to the left and right and not as interested as hugging onto me as Zarro. But Zarro feels comfortable with me, safety-wise, of course. They all do, but being right next to me, he just enjoys. He's giving a little horn, letting people know I'm in the house. And riding Zarro is like riding another passenger because of his weight. Because he's pretty heavy, 75 pounds, so riding like a kid or a small frame person. So I'm just going to tour some neighborhoods. while hopefully you're enjoying watching this. And again, this is a different bike than I've had Zarro on. It's the same exact size, within an inch or so probably, but it's a little different, and this is the first time we've been on it this year. So I like to take a little ride and then just check all my adjustments, make sure everything is secure, and then continue on our journey. We're back in a neighborhood where there's typically not a lot of traffic, but we'll get into a more trafficked area as we travel. We're a little before rush hour. We'll see how traffic plays out to see if we're going to, which way we'll go. Pennsylvania's not far. Usually we can make it over the line on a nice drive, but we're gonna see how it goes. And also see how Zarro's behaving. If, you know, he has had enough of it at a certain point, whatever. So I know there's a court up here, and that's why I'm going this way. So again, I can get off and do a safety check, and also make sure our camera's running good, etc. Again, I can see it bouncing some. I apologize for that. I'll check to see if any comments, anybody's got any and wants to, maybe I can answer. Okay. Ho, Zarro. Now I'm putting my weight on him as I get off. Good boy. Good boy. So what I do is I'm just running around and doing a safety check, making sure everything is stayed secure. Again, this is my first time out here with him this year. Want to make sure he's secure. He's just been watered, so he doesn't need that. He's not even panting there. Actually, I'm really enjoying these new goggles. So I could check to see if we need any questions. Anybody's got any questions? Before we head out. Once I get on the road, I won't be able to stop again. So I'm broadcasting on a multitude of Husky pages that all belong to me, the Wolf Driver. So I'm seeing if you have any. I'm going to peruse them real quick and see if there's any comments, questions, anybody wants a shout out, etc. And this will only take me a minute, but it's nice to do, and it's given Zarro just a little more time to be comfortable with everything. Everything's always about the patience, everything we do. When we train our dogs, when we're in certain predicaments, it's always about having patience, working through different situations, etc. So looks good. I haven't seen any questions. If you want to shout out or anything, go ahead and put it in the feed, and as you see, I check them occasionally. And I'm almost done here, but again, it's all about taking our time and enjoying the day and everything going on. Okay. One comment here. What can I say? Eileen. A dear personal friend. Looks like a great time. Zarro looks really happy. Thank you, Eileen. Yeah, Zarro is very happy. I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but he loves being with me. Who wouldn't, right? Now, good to see you, L. Cooling. Okay, folks. So I just did a safety check. I'm gonna put the motorcycle in gear, and we're gonna go here in one sec. We're back off to the races. Looks like my camera's getting a little bit past the point. Making sure everything's tight. We're good to go. I apologize if you do lose the picture a little bit. We're trying to hold it, but the way the camera rotates, I think it might have moved a little. So apologize for that, but hopefully you're getting a good view. I think the sweeping view is kind of nice because you can see different areas and where we're going and how Zarro's riding and all that good stuff. So I love when he puts his head on my shoulder. Just shows you he's happy being with me. and he's enjoying himself. So in case you're just joining us, once again, I'm the Wolf Driver. And I don't only call myself the Wolf Driver because I drive the dogs on a sled-like vehicle, a sled on wheels, basically. You might have seen me doing that many times. But I call myself the Wolf Driver because I'm driving at a dog's passion, doing all the different activities we do. And actually, this is considered one of the activities. Now, this isn't going to necessarily be beneficial in the sense of a workout, but it's some bonding time and also some confidence building time, trust building between the dogs and myself. And it gives us a chance to be together on an individual basis, because a lot of times we're in a pack-like environment. All the dogs are there usually when we're out exercising and doing our adventures. So you don't get a chance as much to work with them individually. And when I train a dog, good boy Zarro, I'm telling him good boy because I'm taking a turn and he's feeling G-forces in different ways, his body's being moved around. So you have to teach him to ride a motorcycle. On anything you do, you got to work with them. Again, it's all about getting their trust, so then you can do anything with them. Once they're trusting in you and confident in it, then they'll go anywhere and try almost anything that you do or you tell them to do because they feel safe. They're like, oh, Dad wouldn't hurt me or Mom wouldn't let me get hurt. So guaranteeing their safety on everything you do is the most important thing. But what I was explaining is when I train the dogs, I usually work with them on an individual level when we're trying to, for instance, train in the recall command where they come back to me, how I do free ranging. Train one dog at a time. Now, if I have a really good trained dog, an older dog, kind of like Zarro. Zarro's not older yet like Princess, but he's done it a million times. Sometimes, if I was going to train a new dog or a puppy, I might take Zarro along because it helps comfort him. But I certainly wouldn't take the whole pack along. I would take a select dog or work with the dog individually. Now, as the dog understands and starts catching on, then I can add more dogs to the mix and start with distractions, challenge him, etc. So, the boy Zarro, easy, easy. Coming to a stop sign, so going easy. So she was getting ready to go through that stop sign and wanted to make sure she saw me, but I was stopping anyway. If you've seen me wolf drive when I'm on the bike and everything, I yield to almost everybody. Now sometimes, on a bike or motorcycle, I'm always yielding, but you can't overdo it because the person behind you might run into you. So I try to give everybody as much a right of way as possible because, again, I want to keep a small footprint. Don't want to make any waves, if that makes any sense. So I apologize. We might be going through an area where you might lose me for a second here and there. It's all because signal is a little scattered around here. So I'm going to give you a good view of the countryside of Maryland. A lot of big horse farms. In fact, if you're a baseball fan at all, you might know of the great Cal Ripken. His house will probably pass by, and one of the newest Orioles had bought it from him, who's now selling it again. So, but Cal actually built the house, and I know friends of mine that I've gone to school with play basketball with Cal. They used to. So I haven't been to his house, but they've told me it's a full basketball court in there. He actually, I think, enjoyed playing basketball more than baseball. And he was a baseball player, if you didn't know. Very famous one. He's got a big record where he broke Lou Gehrig's record. Lou Gehrig's an old baseball player. But I digress. So, again, just driving real gingerly because of Zarro. Making sure we're clear everywhere we go. people that ride their dogs on motorcycles, of course. But I've never seen anyone ride them on a Can-Am. I'm sure they do it. They're probably not broadcasting live on Facebook, though. Again, I like sharing all the stuff we do. Hope to inspire others. There's so many cool things you can do with any dog. Any dog that's special in your life, any dog you have is special, I'm sure. And there's all kinds of activities and adventures. Now, I know you all are used to seeing me out on the bike or out in the fields with them, but everything I do, almost anybody else can do. It doesn't have to be as extreme as I'm getting. I'm just I'm taking it to the next level. But just like riding on a bike, you can ride a dog on any bike safely, with the proper attachments and equipment. Now, this is a new traffic circle here, so just going to try to learn the lay of the lands. Yeah, so, I mean, enjoying the dog on something like this, like the motorcycle, is so cool. Especially people that travel. Some people only have motorcycles. They're not like pleasure vehicles like I have here. So they might need it as a form of transportation. And this can provide that for you, this kind of setup. Now, there's only one place I know of in the world that makes a seat made for a motorcycle, especially for a large dog. Now, you can put seats on like car seats. I mean, you may be able to, I don't know. But this is actually made for the motorcycle. So they actually measure your motorcycle and make the seat custom for it. Again, the company's called Beast Riders, B-E-A-S-T, I believe it's R-Y-D-E-R-S. And they're actually, coincidentally, located in Maryland. That's not how I found them. I found them on the web. Because again, I'm in Maryland. Views right now of horse farms we're going through. I'm getting a little crosswind. I'm wearing a pair of glasses, seeing glasses. To my left, I don't think you'll see it, but there's a ton of horses. And they're all by the fence near the roadway. So when I was a little kid, we'd come through here and give the horses, I believe, sugar cubes and other stuff. I'm an animal lover, so always taking care of them or mingling with them the best I could. And to my right is a big horse farm also, but I don't see any horses out there. These farms are mostly horse farms, not crop growing farms in this area that we're at now. We're getting ready to pass by, and you'll probably see it. It'll be on my right of the baseball player Cal Ripken's house that I've mentioned earlier. It's not his house anymore, he sold it, but it's a mega mansion. Looks more like a hotel, if you will. So that is right now where I'm turning. And it's funny, I told you it's for sale. Here's the for sale sign. I read about it because one of the newer Orioles had bought it and he got traded, went to another team, so he's selling it. I digress, sorry folks. A lot of twists and turns. These country roads are really cool. A little bit busier than the country road though. More horse farms to my right and left. I don't know if you could see them. I guess you can now, actually. Horse country, like I said. Cows in this pasture here, so. Usually see horses, but there are cows there. Zarro totally enjoying his time, as you see. He loves a motorcycle ride. Now when he takes his head off my shoulder, he's usually just adjusting himself. He's confined to a tight area, but then again, so am I. He is, again, seat belted in where I'm not, so it's a little more restrained. He has to be. Not that he would jump. Zarro's pretty good, but just when we go around corners, whatever, his legs can't wrap around like mine do, like a human's does. So this helps him secure him. This helps him keep him secure. Beautiful horses to my right, as well as a pond we're passing by. Zarro's weight's a little more to balance on here too, again, because not like a person where the person would naturally lean into a turn. Zarro's probably pushing the other way. So, and I measure that because I've ridden other people on here, so I can feel he's a little, even though he's not as heavy as usually most adults, he's still, because of the way the weight's distributed, a little more challenging. Here's these are a model in his Rex specs. So we're going to come to a park up here and I'll pull over. Long green light for the other side. Here we go. Good boy. Depending on how crowded this park is, we might pull over there. Now this is Horses and Hound. I believe they have what they call a fox hunt. It's not really a fox hunt, but it's an old tradition. Maybe it was back in the day. But these lands are, I believe, used for this festival or this gathering of a lot of people, as well as other festivals and festivities, etc. Passing by a park, we will be soon, called Oregon Ridge. We're approaching it. And there's ball fields at Oregon Ridge that sometimes we stop at. I've trained some of the dogs up there. And if the lot's clear, I might turn there. Just to, again, check everything, first ride of the season. And also maybe address any questions you may have, shout outs, etc. And give a little water to Zarro. We haven't been riding that long, but it's always nice to check his hydration. Yeah, it's empty here. People getting around me because they can't wait, so. And this lot's a little bumpy, so if you see us going up and down, that's what it's about. So I might take Zarro off for a little walk here. And I'll show you how I take him down. Good boy, Zarro. Boy. Okay, so I'll be able to turn the motor off too. Okay, we're back in business. Good boy, Zarro. So what I'm going to do is take him off. Now, a couple things, and let me try to. I could take a little bit of time here, folks, and point the camera in the right direction. So, talking about the goggles I'm using with Zarro. These are called Rec Specs. Again, if you're just joining us or you're, I didn't cover it before, I'm using a company called Beast Riders. They make this ensemble, the harness, the motorcycle seat, and the goggles, but I'm not using their product today. I'm using, again, something called Rec Specs. And these seem to fit really well, and they might be a little more comfortable for the dog. Just my personal opinion, I'm liking the way they're riding. The way they fit over the ears and the muzzle, and they're using a stretch cord here, which is nice under the muzzle, and behind the back of the ear is where the clasp is, so behind the back of the head. But these have ridden there perfectly the whole ride, which tells me that it's a good design. So what I do, and I'll show you the other ones, by the way, and Zarro's being a super, notice how he's comfortable, he's relaxed. This is just so you know, you might have seen us, these are his normal goggles they wear. They're got a good system too. They're made by Beast Riders, and these things are, you know, not cheap. I believe these are like $100. They're all custom made, all the Beast Rider stuff, all the leather. I think the Rec Specs are like $89, I want to say. I'm not doing any kind of commercial for any of them. It's just I like telling everybody about the equipment, how I got here, etc. So I carry with me, and one of the reasons I like this motorcycle so much is because of the ability to carry all the equipment. It's got a lot of different compartments, as you see. So this, again, I'll do this better in my studio when I have a chance. This is called a European lead, if you will, or sometimes they're called Polizzi leash, Polizzi's like European, or I forget if it's French or what, but for police kind of leash, because you can wear this around your hip, you can do two dogs, you can wear it around your arm, you can always have it on you. And I believe a lot of the police over in the European countries used to wear those leashes. They're not as popular in America, and I don't understand why. They're great leashes. So I carry that with me, and of course I'm going to carry on the other side of this container, you might have seen these water bowls, which are collapsible, and they're really nice because they also have buttons on them. So when we're on the bike, you have probably seen me give the dogs water, or Jim, or whoever my co-pilot is, out of them. So I'm gonna got some ice cold water with us, and we're gonna give a little drink to Zarro before we get out. So just gonna rinse the bowl out one time and give him a nice drink. Okay, good boy. Now, it's a little awkward for him to drink with that around his muzzle, but I want him to get used to it. So that's why I'm leaving the goggles on, the specs, Rec Specs again, because I want him to get used to it. Like, hey, it's no big deal. I can drink out of it. I can drink with these on. I can drink in the motorcycle seat. Again, all part of the initial training, which he's already been trained for this, but this is getting familiar with it. We haven't been on it. We've done this for years, but this is the first time we've been on it this year. So always good to give him a refresher course like that. So he's done his drink, and I'm going to leave this close by because when we get back, I'll give him another drink. I'm going to put the top on, and I'm going to show you how we take Zarro off. So I'm going to take the goggles off first. Now, I've never done these, so what I'm going to do, never actually take, this is the first time I've used them again. Very cool design. See how that went off? Now, you see how they fit on, and they go right around the ear, right around the head, and this goes underneath the muzzle. Now, they're still attached to the harness. This is Beast Rider's invention. Again, the other company who makes the goggle. It makes the ensemble, not the specs here. And that extra leash was in case the goggles would fall off and get windblown while we were riding, because they're expensive. So we put a little tether on them right here that will keep them from flying off. They would just come off of him, and I would be able to put them right back, at least address them, put them right back on. Good boy, Zarro. So I'm going to put my helmet in here. Actually, it won't fit. So it's pretty secure around here, but just for safekeeping, I'm going to put everything away. And I'm going to show you me take Zarro down. Now it's a little harder because I'm wearing this ensemble, but I'm going to get in the best position to explain it. So I'm taking one clip off now. That's part of the seat that goes right on Zarro, and taking the second clip off right here, and then he's down to one more, and this one's right here. Now if he could sit in the other direction, I have it pretty tight now. He wouldn't be able to turn now, and that's purposely done that way because I want to keep him secure. I don't want him doing a lot of moving here. In different situations, I might give him a little more flexibility on that. Okay, Z-Man. He's totally free now. Come on, good boy. He's like, I'm comfortable here, Dad. See, he's a big baby. Good boy. Good boy, Zarro. Good boy. Okay, so what I do, Zarro, I don't even have to hold on to his leash, but these dogs are all, you know, my dogs are all trained off leash, but of course, leash laws in the area require that we keep them on leash when we're on public lands. When we get back there, I'll probably take them off. Now, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to, whoops, stay, Zarro. Zarro, stay. Good boy. He's excited. I'm going to try to take the camera with me. Let's see how that's going to work. Let me lock the bike up for a sec. I normally wear you've seen me in it, my hat, where I can actually wear the camera. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy, folks. I'm unscrewing the camera here. Okay. Now, I am going to take you with me because it's working out. Come on, Zarro. Now, there's trash and glass. Always, whenever I come to a public place, anywhere, I'm always concerned about that. Zarro's making sure we got water on the pole there, as you see. No, Zarro. So, Zarro. He wanted to grab whatever was laying there, and of course I don't want him to. So, now once I establish there's nobody here, I'm going to take him off lead and show you how we do it. Stay. Sorry if I'm, okay, easy. What's our, so he's totally off lead. Whoops, sorry, I've moved the camera like that. I'm holding it bad. There we go. So this area is a lot of brush. Might be rabbits back here, other little critters. Zarro will listen to me. So if they do come in our way, I'll be a little loud to make sure they're kind of stay clear. But we do have to be careful because, come on, Zarro. Sometimes the animals, again, I'm in Maryland, so some of the animals come out of hibernation, and I find they're like a deer in the headlights. I'm talking like groundhogs, and they just don't have all their senses working. They whatever the case may be, and they're like dumbfounded. And all of a sudden, the dogs can get a hold of them. So, especially this time of year, want to be real careful to try to avoid as much wildlife contact as we can. It happens up at the farms when we're free ranging, especially there because we're moving at a high rate of speed and we can come on them pretty quick. When we're in a more park-like setting, less likely to be here because more people come through here. So if you have any questions, let me see if I can check my phone at all. If it's going to be possible. I'd love to answer them. We're still live here. Okay, no questions. I just peruse all the Wolf Driver pages. Got a comment here on the Wolf Driver Wolf Pack. And Marie Blauruck, I hope I'm saying that right, and I apologize if I messed your name up. She says, what a sweet man that takes Zarro for a ride on his motorcycle instead of leaving him alone. Hats off. Thank you so much, Marie. I really appreciate it. Yeah, again, great bonding time. Come on, Zarro. Zarro. I'm on, good boy. So see the little bit of abruptness I use in my voice. That usually lets him know Dad means business. Thank you so much for the kind words. So I see my signal's getting a little weak, so I'm not going to look for more comments. I was trying to respond to comments, but because I'm broadcasting and trying to peruse Facebook, I think I'm overwhelming the system. So the network, not Facebook. I'm talking the cell network. I've trained most of my dogs up here at some point or another in the different stages of life. So I've been coming here for 25 years, this park. Again, just a real open area. There's a little kind of like bird feeders, like a little bird sanctuary back where we're going to walk. And I'll see deer down there sometimes. But for the most part, these are baseball, soccer fields, baseball fields and soccer fields. And they usually have teams here. We're kind of early for the evening. It is spring, so they're probably going to be playing softball or baseball. They welcome dogs here. A lot of times I'll run into, believe it or not, a lot of the local, I'm in Baltimore, the Baltimore County Police will bring their canines up here. And I remember running into one of them. He was just getting some free time with his dog. Most of the dogs there are trained with what they call Schutzen, which is protection work. And that's how most military police dogs are. It's a German standard. And my trainer, I'm familiar with it. I've never done it before, but I'm familiar with it because my master trainer who taught me everything I know was a expert master world champion Schutzen trainer. And he trained many of the, here's one of the little birdhouses, many of the police dogs in his life. And he was incredible. I think at one point he might have had, I don't know how many dogs he had, but it was amazing. I remember his wife telling me a story when she met him. I guess they're both dog lovers, and they went out somewhere to a park to walk the dogs, and he was introducing his dogs to her, and I don't know if it was 10, 12 dogs, whatever. He had them all in his truck. He called each one when he was pulled over and they were at the park and the dogs were situated. Each one called him individually by name, and they each came out and laid right down when he would call them. It's truly incredible. Forget about the dog whisperer. This guy was the real deal. Not that the Cesar Millan's not. I don't know Cesar Millan, but I never saw anything like this. So I spent many years working with him, and to train a dog to do what we're doing is really only a couple days. But a husky is a different breed, no pun intended, and they're very, very hard to train off leash. We use different tools, e-collars, etc. And I know that sometimes can be controversial. People are like, well, why do you use an e-collar? I would never want to use that. An e-collar is like an invisible fence collar, and that's how I learned all about them, was invisible fence. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. I couldn't afford to put a fence around my house, but an invisible fence was, I believe at the time, under $1,000. And I put the invisible fence on. I said, wow, I want to give my dog some freedom. Sometimes he wants to run out back, and I don't want to put him on a trolley. I was concerned about that. So I invested in an invisible fence, and lo and behold, that was the best investment I ever made. My dog got so much freedom out in my yard. I learned to trust it, and it was one of the coolest things I ever could do for my dogs. Then, of course, as I got other huskies, they all were really responsive and took to the invisible fence like it was second nature. Then we got into training with the master trainer I was talking about. His name was John, and learned all about the e-collar training. But it had a twist because we were doing huskies. And again, huskies are so prey oriented and so independent that training them to be off leash is so challenging. Training to do anything is so challenging because they want to follow their nose. They want to do what they want to do. Good boy. Good boy. He's making some noise here. Let the other animals. I see a bunch of birds, so I don't know if they're feeding on something or what, but I want them to know that we're in the house. So the husky is just totally different. And for some of my first years with a husky, I was paranoid. I would never let him off leash. I mean, without the invisible fence, of course, when we were out anywhere, just chilling, I would never let the dog off leash because I know they would take off. Then when I met John and we got into e-collar training and understanding, we pioneered it with the huskies. I mean, he had already perfected his style of e-collar training, but doing it with the huskies is similar, but you gotta know what you're dealing with. This is beautiful here. So a horse farm borders this park, and then there's a field out there which looks like part of a house, private residence. So we always stay over here, and sometimes I noticed there was no cars, and that's why, again, I'm going off leash. Now, he's perfectly trained off leash, but for others, if someone else sees, because I like to respect the laws, because some people are deathly scared of dogs, and if someone comes by and sees them off leash, they could really, it could be a problem for them. And not that they are upset at you for having them off leash, just because they're so scared and they see an animal off leash, especially the size of Zarro, he's big, that it could be impactful for him. So even though I know he's perfectly fine, he's going to respond to me like clockwork, I'm still not going to do it if there's other people here. And if there's other people here, they could have dogs. And if their dog's on leash and my dog's off leash, or vice versa, that could be problematic. Now, here, a little critter, probably a squirrel. Because when a dog's on leash comes up to a dog off leash, remember, that dog that's on leash feels restrained, and they can take a defensive posture. So it's all about canine body language and understanding that. But that's a subject for another day. Sorry, my hands are getting in the way, I see occasionally as I'm holding the camera. Again, I didn't bring a way of wearing the camera because I didn't know we were going to stop, and I just didn't plan for it. Boy, Zarro. So if I was originally training Zarro to be off leash, this is kind of what I would do. Now, hasn't been a real test for him here. Sometimes I might work with a friend or have a remote RC car or something that we could create a big distraction for him. Or I might have a friend bring one of their dogs. So Zarro would want to go see it, and he has to know that the power of my voice has to be more commanding than anything else he may see or want to do. When he understands that, then he's good to be off leash. And there can be no exceptions. As our dogs we get more comfortable with them, they start anticipating which way we're going to go, how we're going to do things, and all of us naturally will give them a little more freedom, but you got to go back to basics. You got to always be careful, because you got to remember, they're animals, and they will, especially huskies, will take advantage of you if they can. Not that they're trying to in that way, just that their instinct tells them what to do. Come on, Zarro. Zarro, here. So, Zarro. Zarro. Good boy. Here. Good boy. So, I wanted to make sure I had control of him around the road. Remember, he's usually with his wolf pack mates. And we haven't been alone like this since last year. We've done occasional walks like this. Good boy, Zarro. So, I want to make sure when he hears the cars, he still knows that I'm the real deal. So before I turned that corner and we came into this area, come on, good boy, I wanted him to know we're going this way and there's no No turning back. Zarro's a real friendly dog, so he might, most Huskies are. And forget about being watchdogs. They're going to want to be friendly to everyone they meet. And they see something over there, be like, oh yeah, let me go see what's going on here. Maybe I can get some loving from somebody. Maybe someone's got some food. Good boy, Zarro. So there are roads around here. I mean, this is a few acres here we're on now. Probably 15 acres or so. There's a little bit that's about as mountainous or hilly as it gets around here. That's Oregon Ridge, where I just had the camera point it. And Oregon Ridge used to be a ski resort, or at least a ski area, many moons ago. Maybe even before I was born. Can't tell you my age, but no, that's over 50 years ago, put it that way. And now it's a really nice park where you can walk those hills and get quite a workout. There's remnants of the ski lifts that were there, etc. Now he's looking through the woods. Notice how he turns around. He wants to see where I'm at. That's when we're free ranging or off leash. Zarro knows, and the dogs have to know that I need to be the center of attention. Sorry, my hand was in the way. Gosh, this has got such a wide angle, this lens. So what I mean by that is you want them always to be in search of, where's dad, where's mom? You want them to be most concerned with that, because once they lose that attention span on you, it's on something else, and they're into something else. And that's when the trouble starts. So tomorrow we're going to do a wolf driver adventure. All 4 dogs will be there. We're going to run on the bike. I think we're going near Manassas, Virginia. So if anybody listening is from that area, tune in and I'll tell you where we're at tomorrow. Maybe I'll put a location so anybody could come see us set up and how we operate. Now I'm looking at the parking lot where we came in. Nobody's there, so still safe to be off leash. Good boy, Zarro. 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 Good boy. See, he turned left. He's on a scent, and it was taking him to the left. Now, we could go down to that baseball diamond. I've done it many times with my dogs, but I want him to go this way. So I want to head home, try to beat some traffic. Of course, I'm going to let him get the smells in here, but I just don't want to go all the way over there. You might see also around his neck, he wears a Garmin GPS collar. I'm sorry, Link AKC GPS collar. We use the Garmin ones when we're free ranging. Link AKC are always on them. Good boy, Mr. Z-Man. Remember, we can't praise our dogs enough. Though he doesn't acknowledge it, sometimes they don't acknowledge it, they know you're praising them. And they're happy. They're happy when we're happy with them. Now, if I had all the dogs here, or even just one more of my dogs, it'd be a totally different situation in the sense that they'd be feeding off each other. So they would leave me a little bit, they'd want to get a little further away from me. And using my voice, I would just keep them closer depending on the situation. Now, when we're at the farm areas where we free range, and of course I have permission to do that, I can let them get a lot further away from me. But here, it's public land, and I got to respect that. So I'm not going to let them get too far. And this is a good test, though, when you've got 4 of them, like I do, keeping them all within distance. boy, Zarro. Zarro's about 75 pounds. He actually looks bigger than he is, and very intimidating because of his full coat of hair. So he knows we're going back. Now, if someone pulls up, I'll just call him Timmy. Remember I was talking about the recall. Recall is calling your dog back to you. It's only really a few commands that you really need to teach a dog to be able to do 90% of the activities we do. Of course, they have to understand the recall, the word no, and to stay still or lay down. If they're laying down, they're staying still, of course. Once they know those basic commands, they can pretty much do anything. Because just think about that. If they pick up something they're not supposed to, no. If they go in a direction you don't want them to, no. Oh, squirrels chasing each other. Around a tree. So, no. And then if they weren't, for some reason, going to listen to that, then you would try the recall if you had to, depending on the situation. And again, all part of my basic training. Okay, good boy. So the motorcycle ride to Zarro just became that much more enjoyable because we took that walk. He's like, yeah, I love going on the motorcycle. Not only because he's with me, he's getting breeze, getting the ride, but also because, come on, Zarro. 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 No. Good boy. No. No. Good boy. See, he was attracted to that. Those smells there. Stay good, boy. I'm going to put the camera back on. Sorry if you get dizzy here. He was attracted to those smells, and he wanted to sniff. But I don't like where that's located, right next to the outhouse, and there's broken glass there. So he's off leash, as you see right now. Stay. And I'm just plugging this camera in so we don't run out of juice. Check that right now. Looks like we're good on juice. Okay, so gonna put Zarro back on. Now, if you're just joining us, folks, once again, I am the Wolf Driver. This is Zarro, one of my 4 Huskies, and we just took a motorcycle ride on this Can-Am motorcycle, and we used a specialized seat. About to put him back in his seat. He's waiting patiently, and we're going to take another ride when we're done. We just took a walk. We had stopped once earlier to make sure that everything was secure. This is the first time using this seat this year, and make sure Zarro was still comfortable with everything. So Zarro, being as heavy as he is, and me getting as old as I am, a little challenging to pick up there, but good boy, Zarro. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. So sometimes you got to help him out. Put his paw on the seat. Now notice how when I lifted him up, he's totally comfortable with it. He lets me pretty much do what I want to do because he trusts me, because we've always had good experiences. That's one of the most important things. Now I'm hooking up this specialized harness to the seat using these super strong leather straps. Hi, good boy. I'm going to give him a drink in a second. And I'm just looking for the 3rd ring. Sometimes these harnesses will get a little twisted. There it is. So he's hooked at 3 points after I hooked this last one up. Good boy. Now we're going to, once I get the key to the bike, I'm able to give him some water. 1 set of keys, and there's the key. Always carry water when we have the dogs, of course. And the water bowl that I was telling you about. The water's still cold from home. Hi, good boy. And remember, I locked everything up before I left because just want to keep everything as secure as possible. So here comes the water bowl. And again, before he drank, I put him up in the seat. I just want him to be really comfortable in the seat, hooked up in this elevated position. Because the more time he gets, now he's been trained to do this, but it's just good friendly reminder. We don't do this all year long because it gets cold here in Maryland. He could ride in the motorcycle in the winter, but it might be a little too cold for me. Good boy, Zarro. So there's water left over. That means he's done. He doesn't need any more. So I'm going to put the water bowl back. Again, using a collapsible water bowl. And again, I'm not making any money for this stuff. I'm just sharing with you how I do it. How I do what I do. Okay. I'm not going to model this for you now, but again, this is the special lead I use called a European or a police leash. They're not as popular over here in America for some reason. They never really caught on. And they're kind of hard to find. I mean, you can find them on Amazon, I'm quite certain, but they're really handy. If you have multi-dog households, they're awesome. And if you're active with your dog, they're awesome. Okay, so now we're going to put the goggles back on Zarro. How cool are these? Love them. They're called Rex Specs, and they fit right over. Good boy, Zarro. Just like that. And we put his ear through them. Good boy, Zarro. Get behind the head. This is just operator era. It's easy to do. I just have to line him up right. So he's above me on the motorcycle, so I can't really look at it. Good boy, Zarro. Now, depending on the circumstance, I'll put his ear through. It just makes it more comfortable for him. Then, once I got it set, now this is just my first time using them, so I'm just feeling my way through here. I'll take them back off again, in the sense, just unhook them and make sure that they're hooked right. I want to make sure that everywhere on him is comfortable. And it looks like they are. That's a really good fit there. These stayed on him really well. Now, the last thing I put on, and I showed this before, is this kind of leash, if you will, for the goggles. And it's just a little leash attached to his harness that if these goggles were to fly off of him, I wouldn't lose them. So I just put that. There's no special place to hook them up to. Hi, good boy. You're the best. But I just put it on any strap I can find. That way it keeps it double secure to him. Now, I might just adjust this. I'm seeing which way I like his ear better through there. I like that one through there like that, and that one's good. Good. Making sure his ears, now the ears are real pliable. I'm just making sure they're comfortable. And they're sitting on him really good. And these lenses are totally removable. So if I wanted to match the bike, I could make them orange. They sell the inserts, and they came with clear ones. And they had a sale, I believe. And I got the blue ones for him. And it took me about 5 minutes to change them. I did have to watch a YouTube video, but okay, so I'm gonna move the camera now. Now what I do is set the camera here, the rotator, if you will. Okay, Zarro, it's okay, good boy. Looks like we're still live. Yes, we are. So you're kind of backstage with me now. So let's see, we're gonna get this recorded. Now I'm not gonna 87, I'm not gonna have it go as much to here. Stop. Get this thing into position. So I'm just spinning the camera now. I know you're getting a view there, and I'm gonna stop it in 1 second. It's got a little far from me. Okay. So just making sure you always have a view of us. So usually I adjust all this before we go out on a trail or whatever, but since you're with me, folks, I'm doing it now. I want to... Good. Great. So that's set now for our next ride. I'm going to put my helmet on because it's a law here in Maryland that we wear helmets. And I'm going to get the bike ready to start. This bike is pretty... It's a pretty cool piece of machinery. Oh, I just saw Zarro. I want to make sure his tail's secure. Okay, Zarro. I'm going to adjust him a little bit. There you go. Good boy. Now his tail was hanging out. I noticed that. I don't want his tail hanging out. I want to secure it. Now there's nothing his tail can get caught in because we're elevated, but I still want to make sure it's inside of the seat. Most important. Okay. So I'm going to get situated here, put my goggles on. Now with this bike, I'm just giving you more than I need to, but this bike has a windshield that adjusts. So you don't need to wear goggles. In Maryland, you need eye protection if you don't have a windshield. I have a windshield. It goes up and down, but I like the extra eye protection. Okay, good boy. Now Zarro likes it when I lean back, which I'm doing now. And we're going to be on a ride home now. Now, I'm going to see how traffic is out there. Might want to go a little further. It's about, let's see, 4:30. So it's probably going to start to be getting heavy soon. Let me see which way I can go. I can go, actually I'm going to go back the way I came. I think it's safest at this time of day. So this bike is cool. It has reverse. Not many motorcycles do, but it makes it a little easier. Ooh, a little bumpy here. And that's our walk in the park, folks. Checking Zarro before I head out on the road. He looks good. He looks comfortable. And we're off to the races, folks. Here we go. And there goes Zarro. Again, passing horse farms on our right. On the left, it's still part of Oregon Ridge. That's part of the grounds that we were just walking on with Zarro. How beautiful is this? Hope you're getting some cool views. I know the camera might be bouncing a little. It's makes you feel like you're on the motorcycle with me because it's just the way the motorcycle's moving. Might be able to secure it a little better, but as I see it now, where it's attached, that's how the motorcycle's moving. So when Zarro does that, he's just catching the scents in the air and catching a nice breeze when he puts his snout up in the air like that. It's temperatures in the 70s right now. So it's not hot, but it's warm. Getting a cool view behind us, I see. we go. The light's turning green. What do you think the people think that see us? Like, what is that guy doing? For the love of dogs is what I'm doing. Now, remember I told you Zarro's tail was out of the seat. It's not really a danger, but I don't like to ride like that, so I put it in, and he's keeping it in the seat. The seat is designed to retain it, but as you saw when he goes into it, sometimes it's a little challenging getting his whole body in there because he's such a big boy. More horse country. And I'll take the scenic route home. Just a beautiful day out here, and with one of my best friends, the Seaman. Couldn't ask for any more. Thanks, buddy. I love you too. Remember, folks, if you have any questions, comments, or want to shout out, go ahead and leave it in the feed that you're watching me on. We're going to be doing a lot of different cool interactive programming over the next few weeks. Talking live podcast on Facebook and interviews with people I work with who I've helped me pioneer this, and other people have questions about what I do, and spending a lot of time with our historian from the Presidential Pet Museum that I'm the curator of. So I bet you didn't know I'm the curator of the Presidential Pet Museum, which is all about presidential pets from George Washington until the current president, who doesn't have a pet. But we have all the information on all that on our website, presidentialpetmuseum.com. And actually there were I believe two presidents that had huskies. It's escaping my mind right now who it was. Maybe Hoover. Can't remember. But look it up. It'll tell you. If you Google us, you'll find out all kinds of fun and exciting, fascinating facts. And of course, pets in the earlier days were not really pets for a lot of the earlier presidents. They were working animals. That helped them. I mean, from transportation horses to, actually there were cows that grazed in the White House lawns. Pauline was President Taft's cow, I believe. She's pretty famous. So you get a great view of the Maryland countryside, all these horse farms in this surrounding area where we're coming through right now. So as I take these curves, that can be a little unsettling to a dog if he's not familiar with, or she's not familiar with, riding on a motorcycle. That's why when we train them, we comfort them with using our voice and lots of praise and keeping them in safe situations. Not exposing them to this kind of riding right away until they get the hang of it and feel secure with it. Again, Zarro's a seasoned veteran, doing it for many years. But we always take one day at a time to approach each training mission on an individual basis with an individual dog, and having lots of patience with with the dogs and ourselves. That's the most important training information I could ever give you. Beautiful horses to my left. The camera's pointed the other way. Coming around to it now, you might be able to just catch a glimpse. Cool. You can see to my right, camera spinning that way now, this white picket fence, white fence, whatever it's called, has a horse lane in it. So there's two fences with about a 10, 12 foot wide lane that they ride horses in. I've seen them do it. For training, exercise, etc. Instead of just riding the horse through the field, they can do the perimeter for more exercise and probably for more specialized training and conditioning. Sorry, an open fence. I don't know why I called it a picket fence. This is a new traffic circle. So that's a lot of different forces on Zarro's body. But it's cool. He's comfortable with it. And I ease him into it. Good boy, Zarro. Always lots of praise. Good boy. Gee. Once in a while, I'll tell him a sled dog command, so he knows which way we're going. See how he responds to it, if he kind of trying to feel if he leans his body at all. Just, I'm curious, that's the only reason I do it. Now these are crop farmlands. They grew corn here last year, it looks like. To my right, maybe that was a soybean, or it's a hay field now, it looks like. Or maybe it's just not anything. Looks like it was pretty damp at one point in the recent past. I'm always extremely cautious because we are on a motorcycle and people are always on their phones. So people behind me, I'm always concerned with making sure they see my brake lights, that I'm slowing up for a turn. Always leaving, I feel like I'm teaching a driving class, always leaving enough room in case they don't see me, that I can go forward. I got room. People are always in a hurry. I'm guilty of it too sometimes. It's just magnificent, folks. This is so cool. I love being out with the dogs, doing anything, and this is their time to relax. Zarro's doing it now. Maybe tomorrow we're doing a dog adventure, but maybe Thursday I'll bring out one of the other dogs and let you see how they ride. And again, one-on-one time with them. This is really once they understand it and appreciate it, it's really a calming, bonding activity that trains and reinforces a lot of trust. And of course, his reward today was that walk in the park without his buddies, just with me. Taking my time through the four-way stop sign, because again, you never know with people what I know who's got the right of way, but they don't always know. So I'm never assuming that my right of way, when it's my turn, that I just can go without taking precaution. Coming past a cool pond to the right, which you're getting view of. Now at that pond, I've seen them train, I believe, tracking dogs and hunting dogs. I don't know the people that do it, but I've seen them do it many a years. Group of guys and gals get together and they run the dogs there. And now it's not a big area, but for their kind of training, I guess it works. I love seeing people be interactive with their dogs, because dogs are our best friends and they'll do almost anything we ask them to. It's just how we ask them and them understanding what we're asking of them. So we're headed back home, be there in about 7 minutes or so. And Zarro will be glad to get back to his wolf pack mates. And I know Princess will be looking for her dinner. I feed her first. Sometimes I don't feed the boys till night time, but she's got to have hers right around 5 o'clock every day, or she's not a happy camper. And at her age, we do what she says. Remember, Princess is 15 years old plus. Might even take her for a ride Thursday. She'll probably just sit in the seat, lay down. That's usually what she does. I know people, as they pass me, they're like, what did I just pass? It's funny, we have a business card that says, what in the world did I just see? When we like to give those to people that see us at gas stations, when we're headed out on a wolf driver dog adventure with the supersized truck, the custom built dog limo as I call it, and all the bikes that are on it, and of course all the dogs. It's just quite a sight to see. So the business card reads, what in the world did I just see? And it explains it and tells them where to go to find more information. Hi, good boy. You're a good boy. You're the best. As I said, I got some cool programming coming up on Facebook Live in the near future, where I'll be able to really interact with everybody out there. Another four-way stop sign. This one's a little calmer. So I hope you enjoyed this broadcast, folks. I'm going to keep it going as long as I can when I pull up into my house. Actually, I got one better. Because my house will probably lose reception or it's real spotty there. So I'm going to go down to a close by school where I've also done a lot of dog training. A lot of these roads are really twisty and windy, and it puts the dog in a awkward position if they're not familiar with riding the motorcycle, because their body really moves on here, and it's twisting and turning, and it's like, whoa. So when I was teaching the dogs, I just comforted them and gave them a lot of praise, and the seatbelt system that they're on really comforts them more because it surrounds them, and with the harness it makes them feel like, which they can't come off of the bike, so however it would lean, they can lean into it and feel secure. As they're secure, not that I would fly around corners, but you could be a little more aggressive going around corners, not trying to race, but I'm saying I don't have to slow down as much. So I can take it like I have a regular passenger on board. If you hear the clicking, that's just me shifting gears. This is a semi-automatic transmission. It's clutchless, but it does require gear shifting. And gear shifting is only going up. Coming down, it shifts itself. So I used to drive a tractor trailer, so gears are not a problem for me. I mean, I used to, back in the day, have to double clutch. So I'm gonna okay, folks, I'm gonna pull in here and talk to you for a minute or two. And let you know what you just saw. I'll check the feed real quickly. Hi, good boy. Zarro's very comfortable. Notice how the seat supports him totally, and these belts make it possible for him to ride, really, because they're securing him in there. So one more feed check. Looks like we still have good signal here. We've been broadcasting for about an hour and a half, and I'm just going to go through. We pulled to a nearby school so I could take the time and address anybody personally. So I'm going to check all. Remember, we're broadcasting on multiple Facebook pages, so I want to look and see if there's any questions anybody may have. And Vern Frederick, thanks so much for stopping by. And Vern is saying hello to Zarro, and looks like we're having fun, and we certainly are. Thank you so much for the kind words and stopping by and checking us out. Moving on down the list, got some comments on Wolf's View and Mandy Deaver. Hope I'm saying that right. How are you, Mandy? She says, "Yay! That's one happy doggo." It is. She says her husky would flip his stuff if I put him on a bike. That's what I was talking about. It's tough, but they can be trained. Huskies can be trained to do almost anything, and I know they have a bad rap as a unruly breed in the sense that they're hard to train, but again, that's what I specialize in, and I love sharing my knowledge. That's why I'm doing all this on Facebook. I would be doing this anyway because I love it, but I'm doing this to show everybody it's possible, and they love it, and it's a great way to be with your dog. So Brenda Ayers Davis. So Brenda says it's dangerous, and I totally understand what you're saying, Brenda. But riding a motorcycle is truthfully dangerous too. But I'm not riding on roads like I would ride with just myself. By the way, I'll go almost anywhere myself. But we can't be. I don't want to be scared of life. I do my best to secure the dog in. He can't fall no matter what. The only way we would get injured is if somebody hit us, and we would all take an injury. But we're pretty secure doing this, and never had a bad experience. That doesn't mean it can't happen. But using this system, there's nothing that can happen to Zarro except for if somebody would hit us, and that's where the danger does lie. So, but there's a risk with everything in life. So we don't want to not live because it's risky, if that makes any sense. So hear what you're saying, and I appreciate the warning, if you will. But um, for me, this is the right thing, and it's just a lovely thing to do with my dogs. I love it. So, going on down the line, on the Husky Life page right now, and I'm looking for any more comments, questions, shout outs. We are still live here. We've got 7 comments here, so let me address these. So, James Loveland has sent, he let some other people know what we're doing. And someone, Dalton James, James, I couldn't get the Herman to sit still. If he said, James is saying how he couldn't get his dog, I'm assuming, to be safe. And that's one of the things. It does require some training, but using the harness system, they can't move, essentially. So it's foolproof. It's just getting the dog to be comfortable in it. Lorna Abramson, thanks so much for stopping by. She says, Lorna says, hi, amazing, Zarro, so much trust in you. That is so lovely. Enjoying the ride out. Love, Lorna Abramson. West Sussex, UK. Hey, from the UK. I was an exchange student. I'm not going to say how many years ago. I can't give away my age, but I was in Southampton. So I love Great Britain. We went to Scotland. We went all over. I just love it. I love Europe. I love all over traveling. But a great place. And thank you, Pablo Vasquez, for stopping by. Mohammed Al Hadid, thank you so much for the kind hearts. And Jessica Munez, I hope I'm saying everyone's name right. Thank you so much also for the kind emojis. So I'm going to keep going on. I'm going to the Wolf Driver You've Never Seen Anything Like This Before page. And here we have no comments, but a lot of people liking it, and I appreciate that again. Appreciate everybody tuning in and doing their stuff. Cheryl, if you're out there, Cheryl Gilchrist, hello. I see you were watching. Thanks so much again. And hi, good boy. Hi, good boy. So, in the Wolf Driver regular page, we got 4 comments here. And right here, hello, Aline. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Cheryl. And hello, Josine Carnival. Hope I'm saying that right. Okay, moving right along. I think we have one more page to go. And we have 4 comments here. This is on the Wolf Driver Live page. Now, sometimes, folks, cool glasses. The Sierra Schaefer, these glasses are awesome. They're actually called Rec Specs, and I'm loving them. I'm just having a great experience. This is our first time using these Rec Specs. I always use eye protection for the dogs, but they're just awesome. Sierra says, oh, that's what my Husky does. He lays his head on my shoulder when I drive. Yeah, I love it. It's really, they're comfortable with it and loving the situation. So I love it too. Hi, Cheryl. How are you? So good to see you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Cheryl's great. Been with me on many adventures on the Facebook feed, and I thank you so much. Let's see if there's anybody else. I'm going to check in one other feed here. And nothing there. Sorry, I lied. One more feed. Oh, nope, that's it. Okay, good boy. So Zarro is ready to head home. We're going to do it since my signal's not as good there. I'm going to wrap the show up here. Once again, I'm the Wolf Driver. It's been a pleasure hosting you aboard our flight here, our ride. And I hope to see you on a Wolf Driver adventure real soon. Hi, good boy. He's like ready to give me the paw. We'll be out back at it tomorrow. Not on the motorcycle, but on a regular Wolf Driver adventure. Good boy, Zarro. He's the best. This is Wolf Driver once again. Thanks so much for checking us out. Have a great day. See you soon. And don't forget, please, if you can, visit my Wolf Driver website, wolfdriver.com. You'll find so much more out about me. And please leave me comments, send me messages, whatever. Love to find topics that we can talk about on future broadcasts. Have a great day, everybody.